Hello, Facebook people. I always have to get comfortable. I always feel bad for the Facebook people, man, because you guys are not getting the right view of the room. So I'll give everybody a few minutes to jump on. When you jump on, make sure you introduce yourself and let me know if this is your first time tuning in and where you're tuning in from. And let's see, I think Facebook is on. It looks like it's on, but I don't see anything popping up. Hold on one moment, please. Hi, Facebook. I'm touching you. I'm touching you. Okay. Oh, now I see you there. Okay. Oh my gosh. Hello. It's Monday night. That means it's YouTube/Facebook Live night. And like I was saying, I always feel bad for everybody who's tuning in over here on Facebook because all you see behind me is this big, ugly green screen. Um, and it's really funny because we have a very highly decorated house. I could do this. I could do a YouTube live, a Facebook live anywhere. And when I do these, I am in this room with an ugly green screen behind me. So I always feel bad for everyone tuning in on Facebook. You don't have the greatest view. So I commend you for tuning in and staying with me anyway. And I will also remind you that because I can't really see that far and because I can't go back and forth, really paying attention to each screen. Those of you who are tuning on Facebook, I don't really get to answer your questions at all, not personally or through this means. So if you have a question that you want to ask or engage in the conversation with me, you have to log on YouTube. We have been hearing hello, YouTube people. So many people are saying they're having a really hard time on figuring out the YouTube stuff. So you have to go to my page, Intuitive Medium Deborah Hanlon. The easiest way is to go there before the thing even starts and subscribe. Once you subscribe, you'll be notified when I'm coming on. So I don't send out blasts all the time on YouTube. You're not going to get spammed or any of that stuff because I can't stand that. So that's your option to come onto YouTube. So for those of you on YouTube, let me see who you are. Oh, I see all these familiar names. Oh, Marnie, you're tuning in from Aruba. That sounds pretty amazing. Are you like by the ocean right now? Or are you just chilling out? I wish I was in Aruba right now. Last year at this time, we were in the Dominican Republic for a retreat, an intuitive retreat that we did. So that's where we were last year this time. And this year we're in New York. Hello, Christina from North Carolina. Hello, Melissa. Hey, Sue. How are you? Hello, Mikhail. I know I always feel like I'm saying that wrong. So I hate when I think I'm pronouncing someone's name wrong. Hello, Janine and Kim and Eileen and Sandy and Kyle. Hello, Robin. Hello, Susan, Nancy, Jillian, Jay from Seattle. Hey there, stranger. Trisha and Annie from Colorado. Oh my gosh. Annie, you just posted a picture on Facebook. I don't know. You had said somebody, I guess it was their front yard or something. You said something about like leaving their house and this is their view. And it really was an exquisite view. And I was like, oh my gosh, we have to make it out west one of these decades. Oh man, the ocean's right across the street from Marnie. That's amazing. Hey Sharon. Hello Melanie. Hello Diane. So it's Monday. I remembered I didn't have a lapse of memory like I did the last 2 weeks prior. So that means we're on a good start. It's very weird. And if you're here in the Northeast, particularly the Hudson Valley, New York area, it's been a little like gloomy out and it's not even snow. We have been so blessed, in my opinion, that we have not had a lot of snow. I'm not a big skier and I'm not a big snow person. So I understand some of you crazy people are, but we are not. And I'm so grateful for the fact that this has been a really mild winter. I'm thrilled. But this morning going into the center, and I was fighting it so hard, but I was like, I think it's like the first time in a very long time, like I'm talking like decades, where I felt that, it's Monday morning. And I was just like, is it the weather? I mean, I don't know, but I definitely had like the Monday morning back to work, like blues. And Sundays are my Mondays technically, but this morning I really felt it and I kept becoming aware of the thought and I kept saying, okay, Deb, like, where's the miracle? Where are you going to find the flip side of this? Where's the happier part? Let's not start your day on doom and gloom, and I did. I did. I tried to fight it really hard, and it was not easy. So I think this time of year, we're just in that space of like, okay, we're ready for spring, but it's not really around the corner quite yet. We've been lucky, so I did keep focusing on that today. Yeah, everyone's sick and have colds. Um, I think I finally got rid of my cough. Every once in a while, I go through like a stupid spasm, but I think I'm finally done with that thing. I have loaded myself up with zinc, vitamin C, and apple cider vinegar gummies. They're delicious, actually. So I've been loading myself up because I'm like, no, that's it. None of this sickness crap. So yeah, everyone's sick. Christopher is upstairs. He came home early today because he's not feeling well. He's completely like pale, and everybody has that whatever going on. So hopefully tonight I'm not exacerbating the doom and gloom. I'm just acknowledging it and trying to come up with other things that are taking my attention. So let's see. I'm trying to think of, there's so many things that came through my mind this week. And I kept thinking, oh my God, this is going to be a great topic for Monday. And I think I said that about 6 times this week. Didn't write a single one of those topics down and don't remember any of them, but they were good, you guys. They were really, really good topics. So maybe they'll come up tonight and I'll be like, yes, somebody read my mind. Let's see. What was my week like? Got into the city twice last week. Once with a group of crazy friends and had one of those, like, I don't want to say those perfect days because we were there for like reasons that you don't want to be in the city for, but then we had a really great day and that was super fun. And I drove this clan of 4 of us. And then on Friday, I took Ben and his girlfriend. We all went to go to a fashion show because it's fashion week, or was fashion week last week. And we never made it. No, that's not true. We made it to the show, but the show was running really late and we were sitting there for like 2.5 hours. And then we were finally like, you know what? This isn't like Ralph Lauren, Calvin Klein. This isn't any major brand. So we're like, we're leaving. We're getting out of here. So we never got to see the show. But as we were exiting, I asked somebody, how do we get out of here? And they showed me that door. And I was like, are you sure? Like something felt like, I don't think that's the right door. And if we went the other way, like there was all the cameras and lights and we would have knocked stuff over. So I was like, oh, I just want to like make a peaceful exit. And as people are like, yeah, that's the door. That's the door. And I'm like, I don't think so. But all right, everyone's telling us. We went right through this door, myself, my son, his girlfriend, and we walked right into the dressing room to the models. Like they were right there. So I start backing up like, oh my God, ladies, I'm so sorry. They don't care, but I felt like they might care maybe if my son walked through, which they didn't. And people are pushing us forward. And I'm like, oh no, we can't go through here. And then finally people are like, yes, that's the way. And I'm like, okay, nobody cared. So we got out of that. And then we had a really nice time in the city. Why am I telling you this? Because 2 things. One, I drove into the city, and I think it's one of those things that all women in particular need to know how to do. Ladies, I think you all need to know how to just do it. Just drive in the city. It's very aggressive, and you need to just, punch it, Marge, and do it. And I did. And then at night when we were leaving, and it was Friday night, and I didn't think of that, my Waze said to go one way and it was the Lincoln Tunnel. And I was like, no, I don't want to go to the Lincoln Tunnel. I don't want to do that. I was like, I want to go to the West Side Highway. I want to go home. Well, that was stupid because that took about 2 hours to get out of the city. It took forever to get home. We traveled through Harlem. And then at that point I realized, man, I wanted to get like cupcakes in the city. So I was like, listen, guys, if you happen to see a cupcake store on the way up home, let me know. And they're like, but we're in Harlem. I'm like, it's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. And we really were fine. But we never found the cupcake store. But then, of course, because I said the word cupcake and I'm like freaking Pavlov's dog. If you say the word cupcake, I start to freaking foam at the mouth and salivate. So I needed cupcakes. So we stopped at Stop and Shop. Not quite what I was going for, but it did the trick. It was frosting and sugar and shit, and it worked. So that, my point is we should be doing things that we might think is hard. I don't think driving in the city is hard, but I'm saying start challenging yourself, start going outside the box, do something, whatever that means to you. Start doing that, because otherwise we're really living these habitually boring lives. And that's what gets us in a rut. That's what gets things stagnant. We stop learning. It's kind of like our mind, body, spirit atrophy. We just become into the same old, same old. And especially at this time of year, we really, really need to stop in that habitual cycle, thoughts and thinking and living and wake up, which is ironic because last week I had 2 really great days, and I woke up with like Monday, like, oh my God, it's Monday. That's probably why I woke up like that, because it was like, oh, I have nothing like really fun to look out for, that I can get to. And then today we actually just booked Nick's tickets for April. So that's fun. So now I have something really fun in April. So yes, start thinking throughout this entire broadcast and the rest of the night. Start thinking, what are some doable things that you can do in the next week that are outside your comfort zone? And you define that. What does that mean? What it means for me is not the same for you. So start addressing and seeing what that is. It could seem really, really stupid and little, or it could be big, like, I'm taking a trip by myself. So start thinking that way. Start pushing yourself. Start noticing where fear comes up around you, because that is what's atrophying our spirit. It's making us small. It's making us limited. It's the part of being human that is extremely boring. And then we just get into the ruts of life. And that's never good. It's like a stagnant pool of water. It's never any good. So you could start posting frosting, sugar, and shit. What a great name for a bakery. It is actually, right? That is. Frosting, sugar, and shit. I'm in. We'll go out. We'll make a chain. We'll franchise it. So you could start posting some things that you would like to push yourselves. Sometimes, not sometimes, having yourself put out what it is that you wish to change or make changes in. Once you publicly put it out there, especially in a space like this, I consider this safe space. Once you put it out there, you're kind of held accountable. So I think I spoke about this last week. I'm an accountability junkie. I like to be held accountable and for whatever I say. And I like when people are holding themselves accountable to whatever is. So start thinking about that for sure. Trisha, we just booked 23 days in Florida. You've never done that. 10 days most. Also, ooh, that's nice. 3 weeks and 2 days. Yeah. Arthur Avenue in the Bronx. I used to go to Fordham University, so I am definitely familiar. But I know I need to stay away from the pastries and desserts. That's the actual truth of the whole matter. So I didn't need them. The universe knew that I did not need the cupcakes. So they tried to not show me any places that would have them, but I trumped the universe and said, well, Stop and Shop has them, damn it. So there you go. Hey, Marianne, how you doing? Let's see, who else is here? Start putting yourself first. Yeah, let's talk about that one, because that's so hot right now. Thanks to social media, where there's this whole like put myself first thing, and let's address what that really means. Because there's like 2 schools of thought on that, or 2 consciousnesses about that. One is I'm putting myself first, and there's that group of people that thinks that's selfish. And then there's a group of people who like kind of skew what that means. Putting ourselves first means that we're checking in to what's going on with ourselves. It doesn't always, and most likely doesn't translate to Well, I'm taking a bath right now and I don't really care if my kid is vomiting and I'm just staying in the bath right now. It doesn't mean that. And people think that, and therefore they can't do it because y- we don't. But it's checking in with yourself first. That's where it starts. And then once we check in, oh, what do I need? How does this feel for me? What is my truth about what I'm feeling in this moment without placing a judgment on what's true? Then we're able to then address moving forward with awareness and consciousness with where we're at. So it's not necessarily about I'm going to get a massage every week, although that can be part of it too. It's the first step is much more simple, and I really think it's so out there, this whole self-love and self-care movement. Every commercial is talking about self-care. It's getting skewed in a way that is almost undoable at times. So it's checking in with myself. How do I really feel about that? Do I need to feel that I need to speak up? Am I being misrepresented? Do I feel like I need to defend myself? Um, do I need a moment to not react to something? That's what putting yourself first means first. Then from there, it all plays out how it manifests. It could be saying no, which is really important, or hey, I'd love to help you, but I can't that day. I can do it this way. Um, that's what self-care is. So I have so many women that talk to me all the time saying, well, I feel really bad if I do this. I feel bad, like I'm afraid people are going to think I'm selfish. That's that's not even in the equation of this whole thing. Um, I I I've known people who take it to the extreme of, well, I'm unhappy in my marriage, so I'm putting myself first and I'm doing what I want to do. So I'm going to go have an affair. That would be the wrong answer. It's not about let me choose like, oh, well, screw you. If you have that feeling, that's not self-care. You might feel it initially like, well, I'm fine. I'm putting my foot down. That's okay. But when you act upon that consciousness, that like, well, screw you, I'm doing what I need to do, you've actually negated self-care. Am I making sense? So let me know, type in here. But it's really important to understand self-care starts with self-consciousness, self-awareness, check in every moment. And because the world is the way it is, we can't always do what we want to do. Mostly not. We can't always do what we want to do when we want to do it because we do have children and lives and jobs and family and obligations and things that pop up. So we can't do it all the time. We just can't. But we can choose and be happier and more mindful with what we can control in our lives. Very important stuff. Very important stuff. Um, let's see. Let me see what else you guys say. Uh, Ooh, Serena, I like this question. Serena is asking, can one decision put you on a complete wrong life path? Or do we always end up where we're supposed to be? Fantastic question. Um, Many years ago, when you have these like, I don't want to call them regrets, but I guess they might be regrets. Or those like, oh man, if only I had done that, I wonder how my life would have played out. And I chose a very singular event that happened to me at 13 years old. Actually, Jay Flugel, you're like a part of this. And I'm not going to share the whole thing, but I will share with you later, Jay, which totally sounds suspect right now, but um there was an incident that happened at 13 that I truly believed for a very long time in my life, like 5 years after that, which at that point was a very long time in my life, that I believed that had this particular event gone differently, my entire self, the way I behaved, the who I was would have changed. And I really truly felt that that particular moment was a defining moment of my future. And it bothered me for a very long time for many reasons because I thought, oh, had only this happened or had I done this, I thought to myself that maybe I would have been more confident as a teenager. Maybe I would have um, just come more out of my shell because I was very shy or reserved. Um, and it bothered me. It bothered me. It bothered me. It bothered me. And I really thought in my early years that that incident would have changed the entire trajectory of my life. And I do think it would in some ways. I used to think it would have positively affected my life. Now I look back and I go, I bet you it would have been negatively affecting my life. But anyway, it had bothered me so much that one day, and I want to say I was maybe 30-ish, 35. No, it wasn't 35. It was about 30-ish. And I finally sat myself down and played out, meditated. And I used my imagination, which is what I always tell people to do to connect with spirit, because it's the best way we can, or the universe, or God, higher power, whatever you want to call it. And I played out very, very long meditation. And then after I saw it all play out, I wrote it down, every bit of it. I wrote it down as if I was writing a book about someone else whose life went this way. And the ironic and crazy thing is what I saw is that, yes, the landscape of my life would have been different, but the lessons and the poignant things, like I still saw myself as having 3 sons. I still saw myself being who I was, but not being able to because of other incidences that in my imagination would have occurred along the way. So the point was is that my consciousness was dictating my events, not the events themselves. So it's a really long way to answer your question, but no, one thing will not change what we're here to learn. It can change how we learn it, but it won't change what we're here to grasp and understand. So from the time I was 13 to about 30, that meditation that I played out and just imagined, had that event at 13 happened, this is who I was at 14, 15, 16, blah, 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 blah. And I followed my life. And yeah, a lot of things would turn out differently. I definitely would have had a master's degree, possibly starting a PhD in that scenario, which would have been great. And I desperately want that to this day. But I still had big inner things to deal with. Identity like issues, like who am I? What do I want to be? What is love? What do I want for my life? Like those things still would have popped up. So the landscape can change, but basically we're here to learn how we're perceiving our life and how we can change that. And had I wouldn't have changed my perception. So therefore the same lessons were to be learned. Does that make sense? And you guys always hear me ask that question. Does that make sense? Because it's so clear to me, but I always want to make sure that my words are helping, are clear enough to help. So if there's anything that I ever say that you need clarification on, please express it, because you're always the one, you're the one that's going to get the most out of this. So let me see. Yeah, Sherry's saying, I do that all the time. Why did I do that? I should have done better. You penalize yourself, life sentence. Yep, we all do it. We totally all do it. And we get paralyzed. We actually paralyze ourselves like that. So do what I did. Make a big, long story, an imagination of like how things would have been different. And when you really get deep into this, actually, for those of you who come to my meditation group, remind me. Maybe I'll lead us in a meditation that addresses this very thing. But, really stick with it, because I thought, I was going to live happily ever after. And it was the same shit coming up, only differently. So I was learning it differently. I would have had a freaking master's degree. I know that. So that pisses me off. But I still want to be where I am right now. And I'm good. I'm good now. So we all have those things. That's another lesson or another thing you can work on this week. You can see where you need to get out of your comfort zone and just jump, I call it. And you can also look back, see what are your biggest regrets? What are they that you have in your life that you didn't do? And it's not for you to be like, I suck. It's to be aware of like, okay, what didn't I do? How would we imagine things changing had I did that or had I not done something? super powerful. Super, super powerful. Okay, let's see. Melissa did a very scary thing this week. You had an amazing time. Now you have a cold, so I think I'm shrinking back 3 steps, but I'm looking consciously at my fear and trying to be courageous. Oh my gosh, I just read this whole thing about what colds and sicknesses are. I literally just read it like before I jumped on. That sickness, any illness from a simple cold to something really big is it's our how do I explain it? It's our consciousness way of making ourselves separate from the whole. Like oh, I'm sick. Like I'm separating myself from other people. It makes us feel less connected. So just that's something to be aware of. And see if it resonates for you. That being sick is like, okay, I have to pull back. And like you said, it's just shrinking back. I think you are saying it way better than I am, Melissa. It is a shrinking of yourself. Like here you are expansive. And that if when we're going into an expansive mode and that's new for us, instantly fear will snap us and shrink us back. So that most likely is what it is. So what do? You take all the nutrients and vitamins you need to take, but also just before you go to bed, just imagine yourself going back into expansion and being bigger than your body. Let's see. Hey, Deb. Hey, Carolyn. How are you? You're late tonight, but you're here. Good. Looking forward to your show. Oh my God, which show is coming up? Oh, this show. I just got it. Never mind. Where are you? You're usually very explanatory. Is that a word? Good. I hope I probably am over explanatory, right? My kids tell me that. Like, I know, I get it. Stop explaining it. But and I don't even go into like a fraction of the explanations here. It's much more like grunty cave person, like just do it. Take the garbage out, that stuff. Yeah, thank you, Sherry. Sherry's reminding everybody to hit the thumbs up message or the button. So I get more thumbs up for the algorithm on YouTube. I mean, I'm saying it just like it is. That's why we do it. I guess so. Marnie, you didn't follow your heart at one point. So yeah, we all do that. We all have a story where we didn't follow our heart or we went deliberately against our heart or our gut. I think we all have that story within us, but that is part of the human process. It wasn't a mistake. It isn't a mistake. It was an experience designed to make us learn more. And we're conditioned not to know that. We don't go, oh, yay, look at all these mistakes. And what am I learning from them? We're conditioned to go, wow, I should have known better. I'm the fuck up. I'm this or that. And we really need to start changing the conditioning. Everything is just an experience. It is. Some are pleasant and some are less pleasant. Hey, Margie, how are you? Let's see. Janine, done. Kieran, I'm excited about your Instagram page. You can post it below because I'm already all of a sudden forgetting the name of it. But post it below. And people, if you're on Instagram, please sign up for Kieran's and my Instagram. It's all about just a quick blurb. It's a quote for the month of February. It's a quote about love. And I don't mean just love because of Valentine's Day, like partner love of self-love, love of friends, love of partners, but love in general. And all of my favorite quotes regarding love or that pertain to love, I'm posting them one a day and just a tiny little write-up about it to make you think or maybe tag friends that you would like to share the message with. So Instagram is it's right down here. I am, the letters I, the letter M, Deborah Hanlon. And you can find me on Instagram. So go ahead and do that. I love Instagram. There's zero bullshit that I see on Instagram. Like Facebook, I'm starting to hate it. Okay. I'm like getting done. I'm getting done with the Facebook thing, but I'm not getting done. I'm totally going to stick with the Facebook stuff, but I don't know. I just feel like I'm like, blah, I'm bombarded with too much information I don't need to know. And it doesn't always feel positive, but Instagram has a different way of designing itself. I never see negativity on there. I never see, it's mostly inspirational. I don't know if it's who I follow or what, but I love it. So find me there. because I just want to spread goodness and realness. Because sometimes my realness is not goodness, but it's real. So I'm not gonna act like I'm like Miss Polly fucking positive over here because I am, but I'm not. I'm also real. I hope. So, Kieran, yes, post what your page is so people can find that as well. And there was also a Facebook page too, if I'm not mistaken. Maria, I'm in your head tonight. Maria, you post some really good enlightening stuff on Facebook. I actually enjoy your posts. And it's not an opinion thing. It's not like our opinions are the same, although they tend to be, but um they're on the light side of things. It's more like, hey, read this and decide what you want, what you think, and I love that stuff. Okay. Melissa, thank you. Marnie, you're still paying for it. That can change. That can change for sure. I know Maria can't take ETA. I think Marnie, you reached out to me about ETA and I forget what you had said. If you weren't sure if you could do it or not. Melissa's saying you must be an idiot, but you can't find a thumbs up. Technologically challenged. Nope. I don't know. I don't know where the thumb is because probably most of you on Facebook and YouTube are listening through your phone and or watching through your phone. And I don't know how to find that, but Greg will probably post how you do, or other people will post. Sharon, your posts on Facebook are stupid funny. Like, so I totally enjoy it because it's just absolute like hilarium. So, don't forget, let's talk about where questions. What do you want to talk about? Oh, wait, hold on. Every Tuesday after I do a Facebook, YouTube, Michelle and I talk in the office before I start sessions, and she's like, "Oh my God, you make me laugh. You're ridiculous." Like all of a sudden, I'm like, "Oh yeah, oh look a squirrel," and she's like feeding back to me what I said the night before, and I'm like, "Oh my God, Michelle, do I sound like an idiot?" She's like, "It's hilarious." I'm like, "No, it sounds like an idiot." But anyway, I'm fine with that. Um, what was I gonna say? Oh, I do really want to answer questions for my book because people write to me like one by one, like, what do you mean about this? What do you mean about that? And I can't always get to them. So, like, please, if you have stuff about my book, put it up here so I can address it once and get to a lot of people at the same time. All right. Let's see. Hello, Marissa and Janine. And let's see. Jillian, Pam, hello. Before you guys can think of your questions, I'm going to give you guys what's coming up. Friday night, February 21st. I don't think I've ever done a gallery at the center on a Friday night. I could be wrong, but I don't think I have. And this is a different type of gallery. This is one of those it's a life affirming gallery. It's not mediumship. It's a talk, it's motivation, it's philosophical questioning, me kind of a little bit like this, and then I'll just answer questions intuitively. So it's a different style gallery. And I've been saying this for a very long time that mediumship, while it's unbelievably amazing and it never ceases to amaze me that we are ultimately connected to consciousness everywhere of all time. It's not my favorite thing. It's not my favorite thing of what I can see that I can help people with. My favorite thing is working with like the limited core beliefs and busting through your own comfort zones and moving people through grief, which sometimes the mediumship necessitates and you need that, but I'm starting to just always not starting to. I've been gravitating towards the living. So this mediumship, I mean, this gallery is not mediumship. It's going to be much more, I want to call it life affirming. And it's that jolt of, oh, yeah, that's why we're here. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And incorporating a lot of like self forgiveness and thrusting yourself forward because we all have a story. We all have a damn story. We all have something in our past that has caused us to atrophy or shrink or stand in fear. Every single one of us have it. And the difference from the people who listen to it and don't listen to it is just a matter of practice, of understanding how the function of fear and thoughts work and how to overlay them with something else. So that is Friday night in 2 weeks. Well, February 21st. How long is that? Where are we? 11 more days. Then ETA, Energy Transformation Awareness, is my 6-week class. I talk about it every time. That starts March 20th. I think we have 10 people. I only take 15 for that because I like to keep the group nice and contained. So that's 6 weeks, but we meet over the course of 3 precise weekends. You can't miss a single class. So if you're like, oh, I can make all the classes but that one, then it's not your time to sign up. So take a look at the description there on my website, deborahhanlon.com. Go to the calendar to March 20th and look it up, or you could always email my office for more information. And I don't know, a lot of you are really responding to this. My private intuitive coaching one-on-one sessions, that is finally begun. So here's the deal on this. I am going to do this free conference call on March 3rd. And it'll be similar to this, but I'll be discussing what the program is and really asking questions and getting you to kind of hone in. There'll be many of you on the call, but to hone in on what are the areas of your life that you do need to or would like to work on, so that you can get a little clearer in your head of what it is you want. And then from there, I'll only take five people from the start, 5 coaching clients. So March 3rd, what you have to do is you've got to get the conference call number. And the only way to do that is if you're on my mailing list. So if you join my mailing list, if you don't know how to do that, email my office, go to my website. On my main page, there's my mailing list, and you'll be sent the information on how to get on this call. So that's March 3rd. It's not going to be recorded. A couple of people have asked me that. I forget what Michelle and I said about it. To be honest, I forgot what we decided on that. I feel like we decided not to have it recorded, but now I can't remember why I made that decision. So don't trust me on that. See, my mind. I don't remember. I've talked about 19,000 things, and I've been 6 different people today in sessions. So that's starting March 3rd. That's the kickoff. That's the original, the first conference call that you can make a decision and say like, okay, this is what I want. And let's see what else. Margie, when am I going to California again? Oh God, I don't know. I really don't know. There's a part of me that wants like to take a bunch of girlfriends out and just go have fun for like a big long weekend. So that's been teetering on my mind, but I definitely can't do that until like August, September, because every single weekend is filled from now until then. So I don't know. But you'll have to let me know. Your mom, did I tell you this? Your mom was with me so strongly 2 weeks ago. I even messaged Mary Ellen. So Margie, everyone is my cousin. So her mom is my aunt. And I was praying to everyone on the other side, and I felt your mother so strongly that I texted Mary Ellen and said, "Oh my God, your mom like is helping me with this." And Mary Ellen wrote back, "You could ask her or me, text me about it." But I don't know when I'm coming to California again. I want to be there every minute. I really do. Or Vegas. My God, I'll go to Vegas. Do a nice weekend to Vegas. That's fun as hell too. And Eileen is all for that too. Eileen is my friend, and she goes out to Vegas. I feel like it's every month. It's totally not, but she's there often. So we do have to plan something. Okay. And Marnie is saying that sometimes we meet the one and we miss it or mess it up. We don't mess it up. We don't. We get what is meant for us at the time. And that doesn't mean we get what we deserve. We get what's meant for us. So whomever you missed out on for whatever reasons, whatever significance they had in your life was the amount of significance they were to have. It's your thoughts about missing it that's actually terrorizing you and keeping you super stuck, emotionally stuck. And it's a hard one. We all have it. Let's see. I'm getting texts right now, so I have to see. Yeah, Eileen's a Vegas baller. That's right. Jay, that's right. We were all supposed to go. All of us. My cousin Margie lives in Vegas. We could all do a whole big fun thing. I don't know. We'll all look at our schedules. All right, so that's all my that's my stuff coming up that I'm aware of. I have a ton of galleries in March. What do you guys want to talk about? I feel like I'm boring you. So tell me, what do you want to talk about? Other than it being anything like, I was going to say political, but we never get political on here, so I don't have to worry about that. So tell me, what's your questions? What do you want to know? I wanted Baker to come down, but the boys Christopher is sick upstairs. Ben is at a game. Jack is playing basketball or with his girlfriend, one or the other. And so nobody can come down and bring Baker. But I love this freaking dog. I can't even stand it. I take his face in my hands and I squish it. And I actually put my mouth and kiss his head. I don't let him lick my face or anything, but like I'm like kissing fur. It's weird. And I'm touching fur. I feel like I had a sensory issue with fur. And I don't know. I just love him so much. I really freaking do. So Baker's good. He has learned to hit the bell to go out the door. We let him out, and he's a big scaredy cat. He does not want to go down the deck steps unless we go down with him. And that's getting aggravating and annoying, especially in the rain, because it's sort of like, buddy, just go and do your stuff and come back in. No, he wants us with him because he's a baby. So that's the jam on Lil Baker. And if the boys come home and he can come down, he's getting so big too. So I want you guys to see him again. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Susan, a lot of people say this. She's been trying to join my mailing list, but there's something wrong with the link. You've tried many times. It hasn't worked. The thing with joining my mailing list is you join the mailing list. So this is not us. This is the software, and this is because of the joining mailing list rules in the United States, that when you sign up for a mailing list, you get a confirmation email to that email. And a lot of times it'll go into your junk or spam folder, but you can't be added to my mailing list until you confirm that. So as soon as you fill out my mailing list stuff, check your email. If nothing comes within a half an hour, then you have to check your spam and junk folders, both. It most likely will be there. It would have to be there, and you confirm it. Then you're on my list. But if you don't confirm it, you're in like no man's land. So you can't sign up again because technically you've already tried to. So you can't do it again and then hope the confirmation email sent. And this is something we can't fix. This is a GoDaddy and a mailing list issue that I say we, Michelle spends so much time every week going over this with so many people because they're yelling at us, thinking that we're deleting people from our list because we have that fucking kind of time. But anyway, I'll go past that when people start yelling. You're not, but people do. I swear I joined it. And Michelle tries to explain it and they say, no, that's not what happened. And then we're like, okay, maybe the universe is not wanting that person to be on my mailing list. So make sure you check your junk or spam. If you have done that, or you tried to sign up a long time ago and you're never going to find it, that's fine. Email the office, info@beingknowingdoing.com. Email the office, ask Michelle, can you check if I'm on the mailing list? Give us the email you want her to check on, and then she will go into the database to see, are you in no man's land? Because apparently she can see that. I don't know any of this, but this is what she's explained to me. She can see, and she can delete your email out, and then she'll tell you sign up again, and then you can look for the spam and junk and that confirmation. If it doesn't work again, she will probably tell you to do a different email, which I don't know why that is. But that's the process. You're not the only one that's having that happen, but that's what's going on. You get into this weird loop if you don't confirm it, and that we have nothing, we can't do anything about it. But very, very common. I'm glad you're bringing it up because I'm not kidding. Michelle probably answers probably about 30 people a week with the same thing going, I've been trying to mail and you haven't sent it to us, as if we send out each piece of email directly to people. Some people get really irate. And then I'm like, don't add them. My God, they're scaring me already. So that's what's happened. Totally glad you brought it up because it really totally happened. So your email is in no man's land right now. So you probably have to email her and say, take me out. And then she'll tell you and start again. Make sense? Yes. Let's see. Okay, Gracie, can I speak about twin flames? Um, Twin flames, I'm not completely totally well versed on the different or the main definition, if there is one. My understanding of twin flames are two energies that are meant to be together. There are people who say that they were once one and have become two. I don't know if that's accurate or not. Personally, I think twin flames and the word soulmate are it's like a marketing word to me. It's just like someone used the word and it caught on, and now everybody looks for that definition and that experience. And I really feel that once we start defining something, then it takes away from what it really is. So my interpretation of twin flame is that it's two people or two energies that just are just attracted to each other. And that does not mean that they have to be either in intimate relationships. I believe it could be best friends, it could be your children. Same thing with soulmates. Soulmates are not just a significant other. They're children, parents, siblings, best friends, animals, could be soulmates. Same thing with twin flames. That's my interpretation of it, but I know that's not the interpretation of it. Um, but I get a little upset because a lot of people come and say, why haven't I found my twin flame? And then I say, okay, I think there's a misunderstanding in the definition of what it is. I think we all have met someone who's a twin flame. I don't believe it's someone that you stay with forever and ever in any capacity. I think it's just an energy you're totally pulled to and you just completely just, it's like, I don't have the word for that. It's whatever that means. Super attraction. It's like, I was going to say suction, but that's because I know my audience, you guys are ridiculous. So I'm not going to use that word. So Facebook people, don't forget, I'm seeing some of you ask, why are you, am I not answering you? I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing you ask me questions. So I only take questions for people who post on YouTube, partly because I can't see them over here and partly because I direct all my attention to YouTube. You can sign up for YouTube by going to Intuitive Medium Deborah Hanlon. Okay, let's see. Maria, what does one say to a very close friend who has had it with life and prays to die? Normalize it and understand it. And people will go, what? No, you have to tell them you love them and that they're loved. Stop. I would say meet people where they are. It's kind of like when we tell people like, no, you're supposed to, like, oh my God, you're supposed to live. To me, that's the emotional equivalent of when you're really upset and someone goes, calm down. Never in the history of anyone ever saying, calm down, has anyone ever calmed down because of that. So to me, when we try to talk someone out of it, or we try to like, oh, well, but let's look at the positives in life. When someone is in that space, there are no positives. Even you could be handed a bar of gold from a leprechaun over a rainbow. And I know that's ridiculous imagery, but that's what came to me. And they'll still say like, no, it's not good enough. So I would meet them where they are and completely say, I understand. I just understand that depth of that dark, that dark shadow of the soul, and really meet them and say, it's okay. I've been there too. And when we meet people where they are and we don't feel like we're totally fucked up for whatever way we're feeling, that helps us. So it's not something where it's like, oh yeah, like, yeah, we all should kill ourselves. I'm not saying that, or we all should want to die, but listen to them, meet them, say, oh my gosh, I totally know what you mean. And don't give examples. I would not say, like, yes, when that happened to me, then I felt the same way, because in someone's mind who's in that space, nothing is as bad as what they're going through. So whatever we say that is comparison, it probably will annoy them more or make them feel guiltier, because it might be worse. It might be like, yes, when my 18 children all died in front of me, I felt the same way. And then the person's like, oh my gosh, I was just really upset because, I got a speeding ticket today. I'm completely trivializing it, but you know what I'm saying? So we don't want to say, I felt the same way when such and such happened. Just say, I totally know how you feel. I totally get it. I hate when I'm in that space. I'm right here for you to just hold that space for you. I personally find that way more healing than someone who's trying to fix anything. Um, because there is no fixing. They don't want to be fixed. They don't want to be talking about fixing. When you meet them where they are, there's a normalization which kind of like catches them, and then they feel secure, and then secure energy starts helping us move forward. We get like carried almost with that energy. It was very hard. And I don't know many people, to be honest, who have not felt that way at least once in their life. So if you have never felt that way, take a moment to feel really grateful that you've never felt that moment, whoever you are out there. So I'll hear people going, oh my God, I couldn't even imagine feeling that way. And I want to go, you're fucking lucky that you've not felt that way. I've felt that way. So you're lucky. So instead of going, why would anyone feel that way? Life is so great. They just don't understand. It doesn't mean they haven't gone through stuff. It just means they don't understand. So make sure it's understanding. Meet them where they're at. Very important. That's a good question too, because a lot of you are in that space or have been in that space. I keep forgetting to add your questions. Liz is saying, on messing it up, can you talk about helping or potentially hurting someone in their journey to heaven, feeling like missed opportunities or wishes unfulfilled? Let me reread that. Hold on. Can I talk about helping or potential hurting? We cannot potentially hurt someone from their journey to heaven. We're not that powerful. We can't. We can feel like we did, but that doesn't mean we did, because we actually are not that powerful. We can't hinder or hurt someone's journey to heaven. And wishes unfulfilled, same thing. Once that person's passed, that's why I always say they have the good spot. Then all of that on their perspective goes away. So say like you lived across the country and you didn't get to be with your father when he passed. And you, the human who's still left behind, suffers from that last act you didn't get to do. The human is suffering. And even if dad was disappointed and sad when he was humanly here for that and he wanted to be able to say goodbye, the minute he passes over and crosses over and dies, he knows, oh, it's fine. It's good. It's all okay. It all happened exactly as is. So that's why I always say they have the good spot. They don't have the feelings of missed opportunities or wishes unfulfilled. Those are human concepts that do not cross over with us. He's not like, that son of a bitch, she didn't show up. They don't say that at all. They understand why you couldn't be there, either because it was a logistical thing, a financial thing, an emotional thing. If someone physically can't go in to say goodbye to someone because the grief is too much, I hear this all the time in my office, where people are just really guilty, like I couldn't say goodbye, or I couldn't address that they were dying, or I avoided my friend because I couldn't handle it, and now I wish I didn't. They're like, I get it. You couldn't do it. Emotionally, you weren't there. It's too much. They're totally fine with it. So from their perspective, that stuff does not cross over with them. That's all human stuff, which is why I always say, book down with me. I did not. I put it on my book list link, or I didn't put it there, actually. Greg put it there. Greg will post the link down below if you want to see what like my recommended books about all sorts of things are. He has the link. But Pam Grout's uh, A Course in Miracles is what I'm reading. The Course in Miracles to me, it's been around for, I don't know, 50, 70 years, a long time. And every time I try to read it, I can't do it. I'm too ADD. I read 4 pages and then I'm like, wait, what did I just read? And I start over. And in my 43 years, I'd say in the last 20 years, I've tried to read this book about 16 times. And every time I'm like, I can't. I just can't. So to me, it's that the original Course in Miracles book is not reader friendly. Maybe it is, and I'm just not getting it. Maybe I can't comprehend it. I shouldn't say it isn't reader friendly. I don't think it was reader friendly for me. Pam Grout took all the principles of the Course in Miracles and kind of dumbed it down, to be honest. She made it in very easy readers, layman's terms. So that's what I'm reading. One of the best parts of it that I read so far discusses forgiveness. This was one of the topics that I wanted to say that I said during the week that I thought of like 6 topics. This was one that I wanted to go for. So thank you for asking me this question. She talks about forgiveness being the ability to drop your old story. And that has changed my life in the last week and a half. To drop your old story. Forgiveness, like we all talk about forgiveness, like, oh, we have to forgive someone who hurt us, or we have to forgive an event, and blah, 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 blah. And that's, to me, as a human being, that's difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's difficult. I've had difficulty with that. Forgiveness has not been my strong suit because in my mind, forgiveness had been I'm relinquishing control or I'm admitting that someone got the better of me and all that human stuff. Someone intentionally hurt me. I have to deal with feeling sad and vulnerable. So I hate the whole forgiveness topic. But when I'm reading this, it made so much sense to me. Forgiveness is about dropping your old story, your old core beliefs, who you used to be. That I can do, that I've been doing. And that literally like wiped the slate clean on a particular scenario in my life in the last like 8 years scenario in my life that literally wiped the slate clean. Like, yeah, I am done with that part of my life and that story is over and I'm not playing out those core beliefs. And I can have forgiveness about that entire thing, about this core belief, the place that I was at that drew all of that scenario and circumstance into my life. I can drop that. I'm done. I've been there, done that. I did the homework. I handed it in. I got an A. Let's go. Or I got a P. I got a passing grade. Let's go. So that's what I'm reading now. And I have a bunch of books on the book list link that Greg will probably post. Let's see. Melanie, you signed up for ETA. I'm so happy to hear this. Oh my God. Super, super, super. Gracie, thank you for that. I appreciate your trust my interpretation over anything you've read. I appreciate that. I think my interpretation of things is very, I hope, because I this is how I feel. It's very real world and grounded because I like you were mentioning the twin flames and stuff. To me, that feels so otherworldly. And if it feels otherworldly, then I can't as a human connect with certain things. So I have to make sense of things in human terms, including the otherworldly stuff. I mean, that's where the mediumship and that just connecting to it all, that's where it all comes in. And I like to then bring it into human terms. How do we do this? What does it mean? How do we do this in human terms versus that all-knowing spiritual self? So I thank you for that comment. Janine, what do the deceased do all day and night? I think you said they don't sleep, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they don't need sleep. Only our physical body needs sleep. They don't even experience day and night. How's that? There is no day and night. There's no time whatsoever. The reason why my website used to be Being Knowing Doing. Now it's deborahhanlon.com, but it used to be beingknowingdoing.com because that was the 3 most simple ways I can describe what they are, where they are. And it was they're all knowing, they're simply being who they are, and they're doing, meaning they're interceding and helping us with the parts of our lives that they can. So it's really not, they don't have to, they're not a doing in the regard of in physical, because the word doing is a uh connotes, help me, Maria, um gives the connotation that there's something physical. We, from language, the word do, when we to do something, why is this feeling so awkward? The language about it. The doing is a physical thing. They're no longer physical beings. So they don't have to be doing physically anything to feel as if they're doing it. In other words, for us, if we enjoy playing tennis and we love the feeling tennis brings to us, we have to be doing tennis. We have to be playing tennis, or at least watching tennis. We have to be participating in that event to be able to feel the event. They don't have that. They are tennis. They are the feeling of what they're getting from tennis. So there's nothing they have to do ever, all day, all night, 24/7. They are one with all of it. They're going along the wave of life. If consciousness were an ocean, when we pass, it's like we're poured back into the ocean. We're back to source. So we're one with all of it. Let's see. Thank you, Gracie, again for that comment. Yes, meet people. My lips are dry. Hold on one moment, please. It's talking. I have a thing with lip gloss, as you guys know, and my lips get dry, and I forgot to bring my water down with me. Michelle's gonna laugh at me about that tomorrow. One moment, please. My lips are dry. Okay, I'm back. Melissa's saying, yes, meet people where they are. I say that all the time at work. When people are upset, I say to the I hear you validation and dignity to each person. Yeah, it's really important. Just meet people where they're at. Never try to talk someone into feeling differently, because think about it. Has anyone ever been able to talk their way into making you feel differently? Not so much. Not, especially not when we're in this space that Maria, you were describing before. Yeah, Annie. So yeah, it's exciting. I know Marianne Williamson also wrote a very good version. That one either didn't resonate, but now that I have this one, now I want to go back to Marianne Williamson's, and I will after this one. But this is it's fantastic. I highly recommend everybody get this Pam Grout book. It's The Course in Miracles, and it's a big orange cover. I meant to bring it down with me too, so you could see all the notes and the highlighting I'm writing in it, and I just love it. Maria is saying, do you think that some of us were meant to go it alone, or is it a choice we make or rationalization that we get through life? I think it's all of the above. If you're happy with that being alone, then I think it's a conscious choice that is being made and you're appreciating it. If you're alone but thinking that you shouldn't be, or thinking that you shouldn't enjoy it, then there's some more work to do. Or if you're alone and you don't like it, there's some more work to do. I sat with someone yesterday, actually, who was really that was her big thing. It was that the fact that she felt so alone and there really wasn't anyone for her. And then in speaking with her, and this is where my coaching stuff comes in, but in speaking with her, we started to identify the core belief that's behind the alone thing. And she always felt alone. She always felt like she didn't belong, that there was something markedly very different about her, which in her mind and consciousness started her separating herself from the rest of everyone else. And it doesn't mean that she like went off to her room by herself. It was just in her mind. She could be in a group of people, but she still had herself separated as if she were different. So the consciousness, it all comes down to that. If you're alone and happy, then that you're creating that. You're in a good spot for it. But if you're alone and unhappy, or alone and questioning whether you should be happy or not, there's more work to be done. Okay. Oh, Helen, hello. You ordered the book as soon as you got home. See, from last class last night. Helen went to meditation last night for the first time. Let's see. Devin, what in a spiritual sense can be shared with a person who has experienced multiple miscarriages? Are those souls that never become connected to the mother to make her learn a certain lesson in life? No, It's not, well, everything is always a lesson to learn or something to be learned. It's experience. And we use the word lesson all the time. I use it all the time, but I'm starting to feel the discomfort within myself of even using a lesson because we're like, well, stop with the freaking lessons. I don't want to learn any more lessons. So if we shift the word to it's an experience that you're having here in life, I think it softens the whole idea about it. But um, I always call the miscarried babies and aborted babies the angel babies because it means that before they came to be born, they made a decision they're not staying here. They want to come into this world and go right out. They're not sticking around for all the human physical stuff. And that's the decision that that little soul came in for. So you could tell her that she is the vehicle for all these babies. She's bringing the life that they wanted for themselves. It's not what she wanted. It's kind of like she sacrificed herself to bring forth the life in the form and in the way that they wanted. That's for all moms and parents, even like if you didn't birth your own children, if you were adopting children. Um, that's the same thing. We are bringing forth the life that those souls asked us to bring forth. In other words, we're giving them the lessons they asked to choose, which is I haven't had to say this recently, but I used to often remind my boys that, like, hey, you chose me here, buddy. I'm supposed to, you asked for all this. I asked for my parents. I was gonna say I don't know why, and that's not true. I get it. I get it now. It's making sense. Next time I'll choose differently. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Um, so you can let her know that she's made that spiritual contract, if you will, or agreement with those souls of, this is going to make me feel really sad and I'm going to really want one of you to stay around. And she should talk to, if she still hasn't had any children, she should talk to the one who is going to stay with her and have her still like say, okay, I'm like that doorway for all these others, but I can't wait for the one that wants to stick around. And it has nothing to do, it doesn't mean they don't want to stick around with her. It just means they didn't want to be here on the planet and stay here for the planet. So it's like she's the door that keeps opening and closing. Hey, Shelly. Let's see. Yep. So Annie, see, you were going to ask about aborted babies. Same exact thing. Same exact thing. I sit with a ton of women, and a lot of you have had readings, and I'll say, oh yeah, you have 4 kids, but 5 pregnancies, and a lot of times women are like, yeah, uh-huh, I have. Or a lot of people say, no, nope, I didn't, because they're like sitting with one of their kids. And then I get the email later, like, you asked me if I had one other and I did, but I didn't want to tell the person sitting next to me. That's all the time, at least one a week. Because I could feel the energy of those angels. I call them angel babies because they're so powerful. In my opinion, those babies are so powerful. They're so smart. They knew like, yeah, I'm not doing the human thing. I'm not sticking around for all that shit. I'm going to be spirit, come through in the flesh and leave and go back to spirit again, back to energy form. So I think they're the smartest of all of them. I think they're smarter than saints and sages and what do you call those things? Angels. I saw wings in my brain. Um, so yeah. And yes, Liz, you do meet those souls again in some context. Maybe they're your kids again, maybe you're their kids. You'll meet their souls for sure. Uh you're welcome, Devin. I hope that helps. You guys are asking good and new questions. This is fantastic. Let's see. I'm just gonna go back through to see if I missed any while you're thinking of questions. One moment, please. Okay, no, I haven't. I haven't missed questions. What else do you have on the docket here? Let's see. I'm trying to see who's over there. Hey, Kristen. I only know your name there because I know you have a really long Facebook name, and I see the K and the W, so that's how I know it's you. Because my eyes can't see more than that. Um, But Facebook people, if you want to engage and ask questions, jump onto YouTube. I know at first people are like, I don't know how to do YouTube. It's not working for me. But once you do it and get in the swing of things, you'll see like, okay, it kind of does work like Facebook Live. Plus Facebook, you guys have like an ugly view. I'm wondering if I could show them. Hold on one second. I want to see if I could show you guys what it looks like on YouTube. Let's see. Intuitive medium Deborah Hanlon. Oh, it's me tonight. Oh my God, you're like 4 seconds behind me. I just said all this. Hold on, one moment. This is what it looks like. See, it's so much prettier. Facebook people. Oh, you guys probably can't hear me. It's so much prettier. It just looks nicer. You can see all my upcoming events. You can see the questions that people are posting. So go find me on that, please. Alrighty. Let's see, Christina. So should someone not have crippling guilt over their abortion? Not at all. Not at all. I mean, like I was saying before, I sit with women all the time who are horrified. They're still saying, "Oh my God, I'm so upset that I did this. I chose this. I can't believe it. What's wrong with me?" And it wasn't about you. It wasn't really your choice to have made. It was that soul's choice, and that soul knew that you were not able to have this child in the flesh, in the physical, at this time, which is why they chose you. Because if they had wanted to be born and come into life and grow up, they would have chose a different woman who was going to give them that. Because remember, before we're born, we know what we're coming into. We chose our parents, our birth parents, the parents that raised us. We chose our family unit, our siblings. We're all in that same. Um, we picked the people who would develop our soul exactly in the way that our soul needs to be developed in the beginning. And then we hit an age where we start saying, okay, this is what I was taught by my parents and my family of origin. And we get to then look, and this is what being an adult is. We start to look at, did that work for me? Does that feel good for me? What part of that felt wrong to me? It doesn't mean it is wrong. It just means it's wrong for you. What parts do you want to change? What parts don't you want to duplicate and replicate? What parts do you? What did you like? That's what the whole process of of growing and evolving in is. And true, like when we talk about adulting, and I love all the adulting memes, particularly the ones that Sharon posts. Um, we're all like, oh my God, we're freaking tired of being adults. We have all this responsibility. But the actual act of being an adult is being able to look at your life, see what you grew up with, and then you get to like in my ETA, this is what the class is about. We press the button. We either accept it and we say, yeah, we want to keep doing that, or we delete it. No, I don't want to do it that way anymore. But we have to be shown some way of living. And then our self, our grown up self, gets to make a decision. Do I want to keep that energy going? And a lot of times it's about 50-50. Some of it we'll keep, some of it we won't. And that's the way we then pass the torch. And then we have children and they're going to go through the same thing. So I might think, oh my gosh, I'm such a great parent. I'm doing it so right. And then my kids might say, yeah, my mom did this and I hated that. And so I don't want to have that. And I can't take it personal because I'm doing what I feel is the best that I can do in this moment. And I'm giving them the freedom to later to go, that didn't work for me. I really didn't like that. And I want them to choose differently based on their own perspective. So that's what growing up is. That's what evolving means. It doesn't mean, all of a sudden we're evolving and we're completely, plugged in like a magnet. We're, attracted to the universal life force energy. It's about standing in your human self and in your human power and going, what part do I want to keep playing over? What don't I? And a lot of times we're just on repeat, automatic repeat. We have no idea that there's other ways of living. And I think I shared with you a couple weeks ago about I had no idea what like a dad's role was in a little girl's life and their daughter's life. I had no idea because my father was 3,000 miles away and I'm close with my dad now and I have a great relationship with my father now, but he wasn't physically here. He was in California. That was normal to me. That was normal to be bi-coastal. My mom is in New York and my dad's in California. Um, I didn't know, like, oh my, what, your dad's picking you up from practice? I didn't know that that was a thing. So it wasn't until, and I'm 43, and it wasn't until a few years ago where Greg mentioned that he was going to go get windshield wiper blades for his daughter's car. And my whole world was like, wait, hang on. What? Huh? Dads take care of their daughter's car. And that sounds sad. I'm not sad. It's just the way it is. So, we just don't know what we don't know because we are raised a certain way, and that's the way it is until something slaps us in the face and goes, "Oh my gosh, that's the way they did it. That's not the way I had it, but I can start to create that." So that's the whole point of being an adult and growing and learning. Oh my goodness. Oh, Melissa, I love that. I'm glad you're crying tears of joy. Absolutely. Nope. You gave that little soul, or whoever gives little souls the life they asked for. They know what they're doing. They're smarter than we are. Those little angel babies. Serena, if our souls reincarnate, then how do our loved ones, supposed to be at peace, and how do we know they haven't already come back to this earth? They most likely have not come back to this earth. I have talked about this a few times. Based on past life regression studies, it is unusual and unlikely that someone would reincarnate within a generation. And I think I feel like I've misquoted them. So now I think it's within 3 generations. It usually doesn't happen for at least 3. There are studies that say otherwise, but for the most part, they don't reincarnate very quickly. But their souls, their soul, who, like, when I pass, Deborah Hanlon, who was known as Deborah Hanlon, in whatever context that is, when I pass, I'm going to be on the other side, and I'm going to stay there. My consciousness, I'm my God, I thought of another way of saying it. Okay. Imagine that each one of us tuning in right now is a different container. So you can imagine yourself being in the container of an old-fashioned Coca-Cola bottle. Someone else can be imagining that they are a Aquafina water bottle. Someone else is taking a vase form. And imagine we're holding some kind of bottle container, a tub, a bucket, a big, huge vat, a beer barrel. Just imagine what a tiny little shot glass, a red Solo cup. Just pick a container and imagine that we all get to go to the ocean of life, and we get to scoop whatever container we chose, and we pull and we pick up all that ocean water and we let it sit in the container. That's the analogy for humans. We're all in a different container, but what's inside that container is the exact same water, the same essence. It's only the container that is different. So I appear different because I'm in the container known as Deborah. You're in the container known as Serena. Someone else is in the container known as a dog baker. So we all have these different containers, but the exact stuff we're made of is exact same. What made us different is because all of a sudden we appear different because we're in all these different containers. That is what separation is. That shows us, oh, wait, hold on. She's a big giant barrel. I'm a tiny shot glass. Maybe I'm less than. So we start to compare containers and judge containers, and we just create separation. Oh, you're big, I'm small. Oh, that person has dark hair, I have light hair. Oh, that person has money, does not have money. The container and the value of the container starts changing. When the joke is that we're all the freaking same shit. We're just in a different container. So when I die, what's happening is the container dies. I'm getting dumped back into the ocean of life, and I become one with all of it again, and I'm no longer feeling separate from everyone and everything. And then when part of my soul gets reincarnated, it's because another container comes along and scoops me back up, and now I'm in a new container. So it's all the same essence. Does that make sense? Is that a better way of looking at it? So there's nothing but peace on the other side. Once we're in that ocean of life, then it's like, oh my God, yeah, I forgot. Like, it doesn't matter where I begin or end. I'm one with all of you. And there is no such thing as separation. So and you don't necessarily know if they haven't come back to life, back to the earth, but um, typically they probably have not come back in a generation. Um, Melanie is saying, I always pick up the phone before it rings or for texts before the notification arrives. This creeps the kids out. Why does this happen? You're connected to the field of potentiality, the ether. You're just picking up all that information and data in like the ethers in around you. So you just get that feeling and you respond to it. For my psychic or intuitive development classes, I have everybody play games, and the intuitive games are, and I still do this to this day, where I try to guess how many texts are on my phone before I look at it, and I'll feel my way to the answer. Oh, there's 2 texts, or nope, there's none, or oh my gosh, it feels like there's 16 texts, or how many emails are in my inbox, and um, just feel your way. It's a good way of practicing the art of feeling. So you get the feeling to pick up the phone or the text. So that's what's responding. It's not that you're like, let me do the phone and answer it because someone's going to call. It's just a feeling. So why does it happen? You're plugged in, and you can be more plugged in and tune in. You're not putting resistance against it. Maria is asking, why put a woman through their loss? They wanted to go back to spirit life, so why did they come to this earth in the first place? Well, that's where the woman who's going to have the baby, that's where they're co-creating a life. So somewhere in her, she's wanting to either be the portal, or she needs to learn the art of letting go or accepting or letting what be is, or maybe we could get really tricky, and maybe those energies that decided to come through her, maybe she had ended their life in another past life, and now she's giving them the life they wanted. I mean, we could really go broad here. We just don't know. That's why I always say past life regression on a personal level is so powerful, because then you could get a little more insight into that. But why put anyone through any loss? You know, that those little energies, those angel babies are teaching that woman something. And it's all for good. It's not punishment. It's never like, well, you did this, so now I'm going to fuck you up. It's not from that. We might interpret that way, but it's not for that. I just realized I'm probably not supposed to curse as much on Facebook or YouTube, but oh well. So, I mean, we could put that broader as to why should anyone go through any loss at all? Loss is loss is loss. Yes, Liz, choosing our parents based on what we need to experience. I know. I do a class called Why Am I Here? And it's kind of tongue in cheek. It's kind of like WTF. But I have us list the positive and negative characteristics, beliefs, experiences, and behaviors that we witnessed, observed, and experienced in our parents and main caregivers. Includes siblings, whoever was around us from the ages of 0 to about 11. And I have us write it all out. What were the positives and the negatives through your own perception? Doesn't mean they were negative. It's your perception. And you'll start to see a pattern and a theme, and it really starts pointing us into, it's like a shortcut in knowing, like, what are my lessons here to learn? What am I here to do? That's actually a good online course for me to do. Greg, remember that. We keep talking about online courses, and I have a hard time with how do I present my material online, because I like instant feedback back and forth. I prefer it. I get the energy, and I like the engagement and the real time. When I do like an online course, I feel like I'm like a drone and I'm just talking to nothing. So I don't get the energy back. But that class is definitely an easy one that I could do online to give you the information so that you can go through those steps. But powerful stuff. And it means you start blaming them less, and you start owning stuff, and you actually begin to feel more gratitude for what they have taught you, positively and negatively. So that's a good class. Remind me. It's called Why Am I Here? That class. Um, yes, Jillian, how do we stop thinking like humans? I feel like we need to untrain the brain. That's exactly it. That is the step one of my ETA. That is what we start talking about because we don't even know what our thoughts are that are getting in our own way. We don't even know that much. So, and also the book I recommended tonight is literally a really good book of how to untrain the mind. And a portion of my book addresses the same thing. It's all about understanding what your conditioning, meaning how you were raised, how it led you to believe and behave in a certain manner without judgment. We're not saying that was a bad way or a good way. We're just observing our conditioning and then making a conscious decision of, oh my gosh, I didn't like that the first 12 years of my life. Why do I keep playing that over? If we had a parent who continuously was divorced and got themselves in bad relationship after bad relationship, there's most likely one of two outcomes that's going to happen to the person. Unconsciously, you will fall into the same pattern and you get yourself into relationship after relationship that feels negative and you can't get out. That could be a relationship at work, a significant relationship, like a significant other, um, friendships. It doesn't just have to be your spouse or significant other. Or you saw it and you saw what your parent did and you go, no, I'm choosing otherwise. It's one of those two options that happen. So we want to have, um, bring back the power and the conscious creation within ourselves, so that we get to consciously choose how we want to live and not just rotely do what we always have done. Um, Melissa, you're so ready to forgive your husband and your mother. Time to live again. That's so powerful. And in this moment, it doesn't mean there's anything you have to do for forgiveness. That's another thing with forgiveness. I always felt, and I mean, I teach this stuff, and forgiveness has been a thing on my, in my life lessons lately, um, that I didn't want to. I was like, no, screw that. I don't want to forget. Blah. And it was just holding myself back. Now it's like there was nothing I had to do to create forgiveness. It was just a shift. It was like that part of my old conditioning and core belief is over and I'm consciously deciding what to do next. There's no blame, there's none of that, that I just don't need to. I don't feel like it. I don't feel like being angry or upset or triggered by them, by people. Um, which doesn't mean it doesn't happen every once in a while, but then I'm like, all right, I'm over it. I might blow up for like a minute, maybe an hour, and then I'm like, no, I'm not going there again. I don't need to. I'm not that person anymore. So it's super powerful. Oh boy, let's see, Dottie. I'm having trouble moving forward after losing my parents, and I'm an only kid. Does it get better? They've been gone 9 and 5 years. It's these terms are always hard. Like when people say, "Oh, it gets better." I don't know if I'd use the term "get better." It just gets to be what is, and it what is starts to become more familiar because that's what it is. So your mind is still very much attached to when they were here or at some point in the past. And you do have to bring your mind, which is the grieving process, is the process of letting that past go, which we don't want to, and it's not easy. And we bring ourselves to the present moment. But what I will say, and I talked about this last night to my meditation group, the woman who wrote the book that I was talking about, A Course in Miracles, she rewrote it. Her name is Pam Grout. And Pam is a writer, and she has a daughter who's 25 years old, her only child. And her daughter's her life. And she would always write about her daughter. She was a travel writer, so they would travel around the world and they'd go everywhere. And one day, her daughter passed completely unexpectedly from a brain hemorrhage. And she was 25 years old, like a week after her birthday, a week after. And here now this woman, super successful, has what the outside world would see as like this beautiful dream life. She's accomplished, she travels, she does nice things, she affects change on the world. We would assume that everything's perfect. That doesn't mean it is, but she looked like she has this really wonderful life. And she had to deal with finishing writing this book, A Course in Miracles, while grieving her daughter. I mean, I can't imagine. I just can't imagine. And the inscription on the book, the dedication says, to Taz, her daughter's name is Tasman, to Taz, I can never live without you, so I don't. When I read that, that was another powerful moment of, so I don't. So I live with them, with me now. It's different, but start making that conscious decision of, instead of focusing on how much they're not here, bring them with you in the present moment. Bring them to the now. It's a different way of thinking and behaving and being and experiencing, but that will get you through. I mean, that was so incredibly powerful when I read that. So I don't. So I don't live without you. You are still coming with me. You are still here. She still grieves her daughter. She still has her days and her moments, no doubt. But she has shifted her awareness to continue being the way she is in physical form and carrying her daughter with her in whatever way that means. So it was ingenious, just simple. So start practicing that. That doesn't mean you're going to wake up tomorrow and be like, yay, and know what that even means for you, but start growing in and towards that awareness and consciousness. Hello, Kristen from Facebook. I'm glad you came over here. Okay. Maria, you think you're a Tupperware, the one with the missing top? Yeah. Oh my God. Don't we all have the Tupperware and all that stuff? We all have that cabinet where we just don't freaking understand where the freaking top went or the bottom. Like, how does that happen? How does that happen? Someone tell me. I know Greg goes nuts every time. Chrissy, do we always choose to reincarnate? Wish I could figure out why I chose this current container, right? I know. But we should then truly, tongue in cheek, we should also then truly start bringing love to the container that we are in, because we did choose it. So, especially women, we're all freaking nuts, especially about body image and who we are, and we want to feel beautiful. That's our innate feeling. And we should start bringing love to the container. Like, you know what? This is my container, and it's pretty sacred stuff. And start loving your container more and more. And I do think we always choose to reincarnate. They say that, like the Buddhas and the super wise people, they reach nirvana and they choose not to reincarnate. Those lucky bastards. That's all I have to say about them. I keep saying I'm not coming back, but I feel like every time I say I'm not coming back, that only adds one more lifetime for me to live. So I'm not saying a word. I just want to be in nirvana. But I do think we reincarnate over and over. People also say, oh, so-and-so is an old soul, which is to me like, oh, you have to meet so-and-so, they're an old soul. And it's a term, it's kind of like twin flame. I think it's thrown around too much. I think it got cheeky and kind of cool to say. But think about it. If someone's an old soul, and you don't describe everyone as an old soul, so that jerk over there is a new soul, they're like an idiot. Do you know what I mean? So like, think about that. We're all very, 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 very old souls. All of us. We've been around. Nobody's been around the block like this first time. In my opinion, what determines new and old is the old souls, instead of it meaning that they've lived many lifetimes versus someone who's a new soul who hasn't. That's not how I interpret that. I interpret the old soul as someone who has lived many lifetimes and they keep getting it. They keep growing from it. They keep moving through the lessons and the different experiences of life, and they keep seeing more and experiencing growing. The new souls are someone who, like, it takes them 100 lifetimes to get one lesson. And then they're going to go through another 100 to get the next lesson, where each lifetime with the old soul is like, okay, I got it. I'm getting it in this lifetime. That's my definition. So it has nothing. We all have lived thousands of lives. Even the people that you feel are completely like, what the heck is going on with them? They've lived 1,000 lives. It just means that they're a little bit, takes them a little bit longer. And I don't want to use slower, because slow doesn't mean worse and faster doesn't mean better. It just means kind of like the breadth of your experiences, the catalog. How much have you seen? the expansion of it. Oh my gosh, you're so coming back looking as beautiful as J-Lo, but you're keeping your same personality. That sounds perfect, Carolyn. My God, is she gorgeous or what? Both of those women, oh man, loved it. We're not going to get into it because I know a lot of women didn't love it. There was a huge thing. I loved it. I'm just saying that. Essence of Human Existence as a Container Theory per Deborah Hanlon, perfectly done. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. So I try to make it make sense because I know all this stuff doesn't make sense until it makes sense. And then we're like, oh, I get it now. It's starting to make sense. Oh my gosh. That why am I here should be a prereq before picking a partner. Oh, hell yeah, Linda. It totally should be. Yes, because we go, oh, here's how my mom and dad are my people who were the original people that raised me. And then I don't stop and take a look at what part of that I need to like clean up and fix. And so I jump into a relationship, and we usually say we marry our one parent, then we become the other. Holy shit. Is that not true? I did that my first go around. I definitely married my mother, and I was slowly starting to become my father, meaning I wanted to go away and leave my kids and move 3,000 miles away. And I thought I was a terrible mother, and I thought I wouldn't be the best fit for them. And then I started waking up like, wait, something is really wrong here. And when I started to fix wrong with me, I'm saying wrong with me in this. I'm not even blaming anyone else outside of me. Maybe a little. But anyway, a lot. Okay. So I started switching the parts of me. Like, I didn't like this aspect of so-and-so before. This is not who I want in a partner. This is what I want in a partner. This is what I want. And you start stirring the pot and making a different soup. That's what happens. So yes, it would be very well suited to be a prerequisite before we get married, pick partners. Although then again, there's that whole thing of like, you can't help who you fall in love with too. So there's that too. And so I constantly say, like my marriage before is very clear to me. Like what happened, why we ended up together, what was comfortable about that, what, the big WTF, that makes sense to me. I have no idea who Greg is in my early life. I sometimes think he's my stepmother. I sometimes think he's my father, but I have not figured out who he is. He's somebody completely new to me. Hi, Jack. How are you? Are you home or are you not home? Let's see. Can I put the name of the book I'm reading on Facebook? It's called A Course in, on Facebook. Yeah, I can do that. I'll put the link to all my books that I always recommend. We'll put that on Facebook after this. Yes. Let's see. Yeah, Jack, are you home? Is Jack home? Oh, he's still out. Okay. I was going to say bring Baker down. Everybody loves Baker. Okay. Maria, they go to the same place as our single socks, those Tupperware lids. Yep. That's so true. The single sock thing, here's a little funny story. When Greg and I first started dating, he had like a little laundry basket next to his bed, and at the end of every day he'd take his dirty clothes, he'd put them in the laundry basket, and then whenever he did his laundry, he'd do his laundry and then he'd bring it back and he'd fold it and put it away. And then we started dating, and I was folding it and putting it away because I was like, I take care, I love you, I'll do this, I'm good. Now I'm like, fuck that, I'm not folding your shit. But anyway, I did used to do that. Remember, Greg? So I was always in awe that every time I would fold his laundry, both socks were there. And I'm like, how do you never lose your socks? And we got into this big conversation. He's like, I don't understand what people talk about. Like, I wash my socks, I put them in the wash, then I put them in the dryer, and they come out. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. It's not how it works. You have to lose a sock at least every other load, right? Not him. Until we moved in together. And he is so dumbfounded. He goes, I don't know where the fuck all my socks are. And he still does his own laundry here. I do mine. He does his. The boys each do our own. That way we keep it simple. Nobody's looking for all our stuff. It's not all in one pile. It really helps. That was Greg's idea. I never would have been that organized. I would have been like, sure, I'll do everybody's. But the simple sock thing. So you guys tell me. I don't know. So now that we're together, he can't find a single pair of socks in his laundry. Go figure. That was a non sequitur. Anyway, do we get glimpses of our past lives while living our current lives? Totally. That should be a lot of that is very unconscious. So if we have like a visceral reaction to small spaces, it could be because there was an incident in another lifetime. We could be buried alive. That's an exaggerated case, although it's happened. So yeah, I think we do get glimpses. Our personality gives glimpses of who we were. I like to think of ourselves as we're just like this. We're just this growing ball of energy, container of energy, that we keep taking a sliver of every person we used to be, and we start making ourselves up as we go forward. So we take them all with us at all times. Okay. You like the old soul explanation? Thank you. You pick our parents to learn. We learn from our partners. Absolutely. Let's see. You definitely have to replay this evening's podcast. Yes, good. Please replay them. Share it, please. I really want this out there, by the way. I never ask anyone to share this, but like post on your social medias. Hey, check this out. This is Deborah. I love that. I totally, totally love that. Okay, Wendy is saying, well, they say we reincarnate, but if we do, how do we talk to our loved ones after they die and reincarnated? That would be on Earth again, not spirit world, right? No, that's not true. They are, I kind of answered that like maybe like 25, maybe half hour ago. But no, it's one and the same. They're there and here at the same time because there's no separation. Because the example I gave with the containers, that's the illusion that we're separate. So it's the same thing with death. The illusion is that since the container is gone, we think they're gone. But remember, it's just the container that's gone. The energy is still out there, still all around us. So no, you can still talk to them. Oh, yes. Greg is mentioning this. He said this to me tonight. Now, Greg does a lot of my like social media research, right? I don't have like a PR team, a social media team. I was supposed to get one last year, but I had other expenses come up that I wasn't thrilled about and still do. But anyway, I'll digress. So he says you have to go to Google and search my name, Deborah Hanlon, spell it Deborah, and click Google review. And then rate her 5 stars. Well, rate me whatever you really feel like is true. Okay. Don't do it because I told you. If you feel like I'm a 1 star, rate it, but then watch your back because I'm coming for you. But rate it and then leave a short or long review. So I don't know why this is needed, but again, I think it's like a search engine thing. So if you feel like doing it, that's great. I also have I do have reviews on where are they sitting? Right after someone has an appointment for me, you get an email that like says you can like recommend or not. So that is somewhere on my website, but that's an automatic thing, but which is separate from Google. So if you want to help a sister out, you can go to Google, search my name, click Google review, and then you could write what is really wonderful about me. Does that sound terrible and totally full of myself? Because my God. But it's all about getting the word out there. And I used to think I'd want to I always wanted to be known, right? As a kid, because I used to love Albert Einstein. And I was like, the whole world knows him and associates his name with brilliance and genius. I was obsessed with that. And I was like, I want my name associated with something really big and cool. And medium is not it. Talking to dead people is not it. Like someone the other day at my son's game said, oh my God, wait, are you Deborah the psychic? And I was like, oh God. Ugh. No, yes, I am. I am. But I don't want that to be the association. I don't want that to be, I just want my name. Don't associate with anything. Associate it with batshit crazy humor. I'm cool with that. I don't want the association of psychic. I definitely don't. I don't want that word. So go to Google search and help a sister out, as per Greg. Okay. What if you connect with Susan is asking, what if you connect with people that make no sense? That you have no connection to, but their energy is with you. Explain explain that. Carolyn wrote, Albert Einstein with much better hair. Why, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Um, Susan, when you connect, what if you connect with people that make no sense? Meaning, um, people on the other side that make no sense? That you have no connection to, but their energy is with you. Oh, I see. It makes no sense that you're connected with them. Got it, got it, got it. Um, yeah, don't ask. Just don't ask like why, who, what, when, where, why. That's the logical mind that wants to have those answers. So just experience them and you'll get the why through the experience. You get to know them more. So the minute you start asking like, why are you with me? Why am I feeling you? Who are you? Um, and if you're not getting an answer, just keep the experience with them. I had that with an energy named Steven for many years. I kept feeling this man. It was back in the house, like where I lived in, like 15 years ago. And I kept feeling this guy. He kept saying his name was Steven. He passed of an overdose. I never found out who he belonged to. And it used to drive me crazy because I was like, then why are you with me? And I would think maybe I'm doing a reading tonight and Steven's family is going to show up. Never did. Um, I moved out of that house. I moved into a townhouse and I really felt he was connected with the house. And I didn't feel him for many years at the townhouse. And then all of a sudden one night, Steven's back. And I was actually going up my stairs and I'm like, Steven, what are you doing here? Like, why am I feeling you? And he was, I forget, it was just like a check-in, what's up? And really didn't come back again. And then I had a reading with John Edward. And the first person he brought up was a guy named Steven. Um, And I said, he goes, do you know someone named Steven? Because he's with you. And of course, John Edward didn't know that like I was a medium. And so I was like, well, I do know a guy named Steven who's passed, but I don't. I have no idea who he is. But he confirmed that this energy Steven was with me. And I have not felt Steven in years and years and years. So it's possible, yes, that I connected with him in a previous life. I really felt like he belonged to the energy of the house I initially felt him in. And even talking about him now, I don't feel him. So that's a good thing. And I don't know why he's there, but he never like creeped me out. He was creepy. He was like a rough energy. It was very rough, but he never creeped me out. So I'm sorry. I just look a squirrel. Greg, I actually love that idea. Greg said, that's a shirt I'll make. Deborah's face with Albert Einstein's hair photoshopped on. Can we make this happen? I want Albert Einstein to be my spiritual father. I just love that man. And I know there was parts of him not nice. I read every single biography about him. And he was actually not like a really nice guy to his wife at all. And he was a little nuts, but I mean, you dealing with the shit he dealt with, he'd have to be a little nutty. So, um, I like that idea. Yeah. Okay. Christina says, what's it like for you to get a reading from another medium? Are you like, yeah, I know they told me already. Um, that's a funny question. I haven't been to one in a while. Thank goodness I don't feel the need to go. But I am always curious and I always like to go. I've never had any of the mediums I've ever gone to in all the 25 plus years I've gone to people. I've never had any one of them. I've been to John Edwards, James from Prague. I've been to Lisa Williams. Um, People like the no names, meaning like the me's, the no names, the small town people, the really big people. I've been to everybody. And I've never had any one of them say one of three things that I always ask for my loved ones to say, which is why I always caution people when they come to me, be mindful of the expectations and things that you want them to say, because I've, for 25 years, have had three things and I have never uttered a word of what those three things are to another soul on the planet, just because I don't want to think ever that so-and-so told them that this is the thing. And none of that's ever come through. So, um, so what am I like getting another reading from another medium? I try to listen. My biggest pet peeve as a medium is when I'm saying something And the person goes, no, instantly, like instantly. No, no. Because I know that you could not have possibly heard everything I said if you said no right away. So I do always try to go like, okay, hang on, let me think of who they're talking about. Let me think. That doesn't mean I always get it, who that is, but be an active listener. It's hard because when people are in the throes of grief and they have this high expectation and they want a certain person, they want a certain message, there's a lot of stuff that goes into that person sitting and waiting for the medium. So I try not to exude that expectation on a medium because I know I hate that feeling so much. Um, but it's now I'm starting to feel like maybe I'll go to a medium again. Um, no, they could tell me cool stuff. Who did I go to recently? My favorite one is a woman named Tara, but I haven't seen her in 15 years, 16 years. Haven't seen her in so long. Okay. Tracy, oh, that's so funny. I'm so obsessed with Albert Einstein. I drew him. I gotta find that. It was a really good drawing, and I'm not an artist, so I can say that because it's a really good drawing. I tried to draw a sugar bowl today in my office, and it looked like an amoeba. I don't know what happened. So I have no art skills, but I drew him. I'm gonna find that thing. I'm really proud of it. I'm proud of my Albert Einstein drawing I made in high school. Oh my gosh. Okay. Did Albert Einstein know Marilyn Monroe? I feel like he did. I feel like there's a story, but I don't know right off the top of my head. And we need to put batshit crazy on that t-shirt above the Einstein hair. I love this idea. I love it. Okay, James, can you tell that a person is a medium if they don't tell you and they've come to you for a reading? No, I can't. I do remember one time I was in the middle of a gallery and a woman raised her hand and she said, "Excuse me, do you know that there is a medium, another medium in this room right now?" And I thought it was really odd that she would say that. Like, I don't know what, like, why'd you ask that? And then I looked around the room and there's about 60 people there. And I said, I'm aware that there's 60 mediums in here right now because mediums, we're all mediums. We're all connected. We're all able to connect with our loved ones. It doesn't mean you're going to connect with other people's loved ones, but we're all mediums. We're all getting the energy. So no, I don't know if a person's a medium. Nope. If they don't tell me, or intuitive or psychic. I don't know any of that. Have I ever tried to connect with Albert Einstein? I have. Is that something you could do or does not work like that? It doesn't really work like that, but I do still try. And I more try to connect with him because I try to imagine what it was like to be in his brain at that time so that he could understand time. But I did that a lot since I'm like 12 years old and reading his theory of relativity and watching everything about him. I try to understand like where was he coming from with this? And I get like 0.0000001% of comprehension. Bring a medium on here for us to watch read you, please. Huh? Now that's an interesting one. Okay. I'll think about it. The only thing is that thankfully I don't need a medium. So I don't really feel like I need a message on knocking on wood. But okay. Maybe I'll reach out to Suzanne Northrup and have her do that. We'll see. Have I ever tried to connect to Einstein? Yes, I have. Okay. So it is getting late. We were on here for 2 hours tonight. Wow. It's Monday. I started this program off talking about how I had that like Monday, like, it's Monday blues. And I don't normally feel that way. So I did. So now I'm happy that it's now almost Tuesday. It's no longer Monday. And I feel better. I feel better about everything. So don't forget a couple things I said in the beginning. Try to push yourself out of your comfort zone. This week, notice where you're keeping yourself small and fearful. You can choose something really, really big or something really, really small, and then push yourself through it. Obviously, be safe. So if I have to say that disclaimer, you probably shouldn't do anything at all. But I'm going to say the disclaimer: be safe about what you do, but push yourself. You're more powerful, strong, sturdy, capable than you're giving yourself credit for, and that's including those of you who say that you're strong, capable, and powerful. You're even more so than you think. So do that and start noticing like what your early childhood and upbringing have taught you without placing blame or being angry or wishing it was different. Just really start to come with objective eyes of, oh, this is what happened every day in my life. This is how I felt as an early kid from 0 to 11, I'd say, maybe even up to 15. And that starts giving you the idea of what the energy soup you were made of. And that established your view of the world that has either helped and or harmed you. So, um, so those are your homework. That's your homework for the next 2 weeks. And I will see you on Monday. And do I have anything coming up from this weekend? No, I don't. I think we're off. Oh no, we're off Sunday, Monday next week. It's President's Weekend. So have a fabulous, happy Valentine's Day. That's for everybody who, for your friends, for your family. Valentine's Day is a day of love and appreciation of people and the people you love. It does not have anything to do with just relationships, although Greg has to prove otherwise. So it's about all of it, all the people you love. So send love and appreciation and gratitude for everyone in your life you love. Thank you. I'll see you, I guess, next week, next Monday. I'm on a roll again. I remember it's Monday. So have a good one. See you later. Enjoy this fresh air. I don't know. Good night. Bye.